welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I thought I would play with some of my new makeup, and there's one specific palette that I really wanted to give a dedicated video. I'm sure there's other videos out there, but it's a special palette to me, so I wanted to do just this one, and it is the Glamlite Paint Palette that my beautiful, wonderful, amazing friend Pamela from Granny's Skincare and Makeup After 65, I'm going to link her below, of course. She sent me this, and I am honored and thrilled to be doing some looks that hopefully you guys will enjoy. Before I get into the palette, I did just want to read what's on the back. Let me show you the back, because the aesthetics of the packaging, I think they did a fabulous job as far as that. The palette is costly. I'm going to get into that and the gram breakdown of everything in just a moment, but I want to read what they say on the back here. So it says, introducing the Paint Palette. The most viral and epic makeup product of our generation, Glamlite has been transforming the cosmetics industry by pushing the limits of creativity and innovation to create the most iconic products the world has ever seen. That's a strong statement. This is our masterpiece. The paint palette contains 18 of our most vibrant and ultra-pigmented shades that were meticulously created based on physical paint colors. It is a revolutionary essential for the artist who strives to express themselves through the art of makeup by creating the most bold and daring looks. Let life and your face be your painter's canvas as you unleash your creativity with the most iconic palette in the history of cosmetics. They're really giving themselves some credit, and I'm hoping that the palette lives up to it for sure. They do get an A+, as I said, on the packaging and on the palette creation itself. This is a palette that contains 18 shades at 0.07 ounces each. It is 36 grams total in product, which, if you think about the size of the palette, probably isn't a lot, but it's a $45 palette, and if you break it down, it's only $1.25 per gram, and in the realm of things, that is a very good price for what you're getting per gram. Still, a $45 palette may be out of reach for many of you, so it's just something that you have to think about, and I'm going to tell you whether or not you should go out and spend your money. When you open up the box, it's a very large box, so it's hard to get it all in the frame. You are getting a little paint-like brush over here, which is angled. I'm going to go into detail about that. Over here, covered in some paper, is the palette, and on the side, again, it's a trifold case. When you take out the palette, it completely resembles a painter's palette, an artistry palette, and I just love that aspect. I do love that the hole goes through the cover as well, so you can hold it, because it can be a bit cumbersome to hold, but this truly makes it very convenient. The cover is lucite, frosted, and it does have the ability to flip back. Again, makes it very convenient. You are getting basically all of the colors, as I said, that are primary colors. So do not expect a neutral look out of this. This is not what it's made for. They are talc and mica-based pigments, or they actually don't say that they're pigments. Maybe they do. Are they calling this an eyeshadow palette? If they are not, then it is a pressed pigment palette. I don't see on here anywhere that they're calling it an eyeshadow palette, but they should state, in my opinion, that they are pressed pigments, because certain pressed pigments are not technically eye safe. As far as that aspect of them not being eye safe, that just means that they have the ability to stain your eyes, and according to the FDA regulations, anything that stains your skin cannot be eye safe. I have never ever had a problem with pigments, but there are some dyes in the red family that can cause allergic reactions to those who are sensitive to them, so I would just be cautious. If you have a known sensitivity to any pigments, please be cautious when you're using it so that you don't get an allergic reaction. So you are getting 12 matte shadows, and you are getting 6 glitter or shimmer. I don't see anything with true glitter, so that's why I also believe these are eye safe. As far as the names of the colors, they just give them the colors that you would have in a paint palette, a true paint palette. I'm going to start with these shadows here, and I'm going to name them. Some of them are a little bit more powdery than others. These are one finger swipes so that you can get an accurate idea. I didn't want to make them look perfect because I wanted you to see how it would be with just one swatch. So the first one, we're going to just go in order with coral, fuchsia, purple, navy blue, royal blue, green, yellow, orange. The last of the mattes, we have red, we have the burgundy, which really did not swatch well. I actually had to do 2 swatches just to get that pigmentation. The brown is quite nice, and then the black is very, very creamy. It has a very different texture than all of the other ones that I swatched. I can also tell you the colors are staining my arms, so that is something to keep in mind. Here are the shimmers. We have violet, sapphire, turquoise, light green, gold, and then white. The white is not truly white. It has a gold shift to it. I think they would have done well to have put in an actual true white matte pigment. That's just my personal opinion, but these of course swatched much easier to create than mattes. My arms are completely stained, which I kind of expected to happen, as are my fingers. That doesn't bother me. It will come off. It's not permanent, so that is okay. Because of that staining ability, I'm going to put on my MAC paint stick, because I think this will create a slight barrier between the colors in my eyes, and it's also going to make all of those vibrant colors pop. There are so many different looks that I do want to do with this palette, so it's a little difficult because I'm having a hard time deciding. I'm going to have to do multiple looks. I'm thinking that I want to go, because I have to use those shimmers, I'm going to do a blue, purple, orange look today, so I'm going to be pulling from a lot of different colors here. So I'm not going to use a neutral crease color. I'm just going to go straight in with the coral as a crease and transition. I do have some new brushes that I'm testing. Right now I'm just testing these eye brushes. I've already used these first. I'm also going to test out the brush that came with the palette. This is really going to be placing those pigments in certain places, but because the coral is kind of just a transition crease, I'm going to use other brushes. I got a set from SL Miss Glam from Ipsy. They had them on sale. I do like these brushes. The set, though, I have to say was a little disappointing because several of the brushes were slightly redundant. Here you have 2 flat shader brushes essentially, and I think they can really do the same thing. Obviously one is wider and one is more tapered, but I kind of think it's a little bit of redundancy. And then you are getting an angled brush, which I don't use too often, to be honest. You're really only getting one of the crease brushes as shader. I think having put in a smaller one of these and possibly a thinner one, I think would have been a better choice in my opinion. I'm also going to be trying out 2 of the brushes from the Jeffree Star collection, which you can see I have already used. Again, I have my thoughts. Let's just say I'm glad that I got them on sale. That's a precursor. I like them, but I have some issues with them. I want to see how these brushes work, so again, I'm going to go into this coral. I have not tried this on my eyes yet, and as you can see, there's a lot of pigmentation. I'm not going anywhere today, so if there's fallout, it's not going to bother me. Just until I get a good idea of how these shadows work, I'm going to tap them in place instead of just swiping as I usually would. Now, interestingly enough, this coral is definitely more pink than orange. My parents are having a very intense conversation downstairs, I have to tell you. Now I have not dipped in again, so as you can see, they're pigmented. I don't see any patchiness. If you look here, it's blended out beautifully. And again, I don't see any patchiness whatsoever. And again, that's not the most intense color, so we're going to see from there, but I found it a nice start. I'm just using a Juvia's Place brush to just soften up the edges. I'm going to do this more often than I would normally do. With this SL Miss Glam brush, I'm going to go into the fuchsia color, and I'm going to put that directly into my crease, or as much of a crease as I really have. These brushes are really soft, I gotta tell you. Again, this is the first time I'm using them. Another really good color that goes on beautifully without any issues. Hello everybody, I am back. So I finished off everything, and overall it's a very dramatic look, but that's what I expected, and I really like it. Let me tell you quickly what I have on, or the rest of my face. On my, for my base and bronzer and everything, bronzer and blush I should say, I used my Cover FX palette that we received in, I believe, our BoxyCharm. For highlighter, I'm wearing the Amethyst highlighter from Becca. To finish everything off, I'm using my Milani, what is it called, Prep Set and Glow powder. Yes, I did put on lashes. These are not my lashes. And these were the Tarteist Girl Boss lashes, and it's so funny because I happen to have, I didn't even realize, but I have my Boss Lady shirt on, and I thought that was kind of funny. These were surprisingly very easy to put on. This one I struggled with slightly, but not the problem that I usually have. It literally took me about 6 minutes, which is shocking. They are very dramatic and very over the top. I don't wear lashes all the time, again, because it's not something I have time for, but I do love the way my eyes look when I'm wearing them. Lips, I'm wearing one of my favorite drugstore lipsticks. This is the Sexy Mother Pucker, from Soap and Glory. I cannot see it, the shade, but I will list it down below for you. So what are my final thoughts about everything? I had seen some reviews that people thought that this palette was patchy and unusable. I didn't really watch many reviews as far as that, but I was reading some things on it. My personal experience from the colors that I used, I can't speak to the whole palette, but I'm going to do a close-up of my eyes. I didn't experience any patchiness. The only time I experienced fallout was when I was using the glitter shade with my finger, which is to be expected. When I used the brushes, even dry, I didn't get any fallout. I think they blended beautifully. I think they create a beautiful look. You can go subtle if you blend them out, but you can also have that impactful color if you pat it on. And I just realized that I never used the Glamlite brush. I just got caught up in what I was doing. As far as the brushes that I used, I like them all. I've used the brushes before from those brands, and I like them. The Jeffree Star brushes that I did use, I do like very much. Price per gram, I think the palette is priced really well. And plus, you know, you're getting this beautiful aesthetic of a palette if you are into things like that. If you're into things that you don't want to worry about storing or anything like that, I can see why the palette wouldn't be for you. I'm going to link it below in case you're interested. Of course, there is no affiliation. There is no magic link for this. So I just want to leave it there if you guys want to go read the reviews yourself and check out the palette. Very happy with my look. I'm going nowhere today. I'm going to clean. Yay me. But this is definitely a fun palette and a fun look if I was going somewhere, and you might be considering it if you're going somewhere or anywhere, or just wearing it around the house like I do. I want to thank Pamela so very much for thinking of me and for her friendship and for sending me this palette. Again, she is wonderful. She's very pleasant to watch because she's just so calm, and you can, as I said before, you can see her personality come through in her videos. She's such a lovely woman, and I adore her. So that is my thoughts again on my first impression of this palette. If you guys have this palette, I would love to know your thoughts as well, because I like us to have good, healthy conversations in the comments so we can disagree and still get along, and I love that. But speaking of love, I love you guys tremendously. Again, I want to thank you for hanging out with me. If you're new, welcome. I hope you want to stick around. That would mean everything. If you want to give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that would be great to let me know how you feel about the video and about me. And of course, my friends, whatever part of this amazing world you're in on around, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you have an amazing week coming up, and I'll see you very soon. Much love, everybody. Bye.